obviously, our nation lives way beyond its means, not just the government, corporations, individuals, and nations around the world are changing. We've been able to export inflation, but they're now making trade agreements with one another and excluding the dollar. But there are many Americans who believe that these nations, China, India, Russia, that they need us as their consumers. Otherwise, they'll explode. Please talk about why this is such a big myth.
Yeah, that's a fallacy. It always reminded me of that passage in Tom Sawyer, Mark Twain's book, where Tom gets all of his friends to do his chores and whitewash that fence for him. And that's really what we've done. We've fooled the entire world into doing all of our production. And so they produce goods for us to enjoy, and they don't get paid. We just create money out of thin air and just hand it to them. The cost of providing us with that subsidy is an increasingly heavy burden on the rest of the world, because Americans live beyond our means, but that means collectively the rest of the world has to live beneath its means to make that possible. If we consume without producing, they have to produce without consuming. We get to borrow without saving, but they save and don't borrow. So we do all the fun part, and they do all the heavy lifting. So that's in the process of changing. And I think the main thing that's really been keeping the dollar afloat is that there hasn't been any viable fiat alternatives, because the Europeans, the ECB, the Bank of England, Japan, everybody else is acting recklessly. All governments are running huge deficits. All governments are creating inflation. So by comparison, that helps us out, because everybody else is just as bad. And that's why I think you see that one of the reasons the price of gold is almost 2,700. The world is moving off the dollar standard back on a gold standard. Gold is going to be the primary monetary reserve to replace the dollar. Yes, it's not going to be the pound. It's not going to be the euro or the RMB or the yen or any other fiat currency. The world is simply going to go back to real money as the basis for their currencies.